Since the beginning of the Power Rangers series, we have been able to know a little about the Morphin Masters, powerful beings that study the Morphin Grid who are responsible for many events to help the Rangers. These powerful beings had been mentioned since Mighty Morphin, but now in the Dino Fury series we were able to learn more about them, including their physique and some of their powers. Every successful series takes advantage of the perfect moment to create alternate series so that fans can continue to enjoy and expand the universe they already know. This is something that the Power Rangers franchise has never taken advantage of, and now with the help of Netflix this can become a reality. For 30 years we have seen the Power Rangers save many people by battling very powerful beings that usually come from space and want to destroy the Rangers. We have obviously seen how the Rangers have won all these battles due to the great power that the Morphin Grid gives them, but in spite of this, the Morphin Masters have had to intervene, and due to their great power, they have been able to save the situation. These beings are very powerful, but despite this they also have enemies that can be a giant risk, and this could be an interesting story. We thought that in Cosmic Fury they were going to show us much more about the Morphin Masters due to the first previews we could see before the series, but then we saw that the participation of these powerful beings was very little. This was an opportunity that they did not take advantage of, and now we are going to be left with doubts forever. Earth is a very small point in space, and yet very powerful villains have arrived, so imagine all that the rest of the universe hides. In a series that shows us the entire history of these characters we could begin to know all the dangers that the universe has, and we could also see how the Morphin Masters fight with all this. This would be a high-level series with a lot of special effects, and that needs a very complex story that can be for the whole family. This can expand the Power Rangers universe, and even though it would not be a direct series of the Rangers, it is still going to have the same essence. In this series we could learn more about the Morphin Grid and understand how it works in a deeper way. Let's remember that the Morphin Masters are beings that study the grid and know details that have never been shown in the series. However, for those who have had the opportunity to read the comics can understand my words, since there they have explained many things about the Morphin Masters and the studies of the grid. Some of these things are the way the beings travel through the grid, the enigmas it hides, the size of its power, and the way the evil started because of the portals. The comics also show events that have happened in the universe that would even be very difficult to show in a television series. We know that bringing stories from comics to television is very difficult, as sometimes you need a very big budget to do it, and we obviously know that the owners of the franchise still don't trust the potential that this whole fantasy universe can have. One of these stories that could be a success in a Netflix series is the story of the Omega Rangers, a story that only those who read the comics know, and they themselves know that this story could be the biggest success of the franchise. This would obviously have to go hand in hand with the Morphin Masters series, and that is why the first series should be this one. If the Morphin Masters series is released first, then they could teach the whole audience about the power and the beginning of the Power Rangers. For now, in the series we only know some things about the beginning of the Power Rangers, but the reality is that this story is deeper, and they could explain it better in a Morphin Masters series. For those who do not know the history of the Omega Rangers, you should know that there are some beings called the Emissaries, which are the representation of the power of the Rangers, and they also represent the Morphin Masters. In the Omega Rangers story, these beings help the Rangers to obtain their powers, and although this story is much more complex, this is a brief example of what we could see. Because of this same complexity is that these series can be very successful, since there are many stories to tell, and with all this, they can expand this universe. Basically, we could have a Morphin Masters series, an Omega Rangers series and a series that can combine Power Rangers with Morphin Masters and Omega Rangers. This is the same thing that has been done in the comics, and this is why everyone who reads these stories is so excited. All this expansion would also help to create other stories that talk about the multiverse, but with more depth and a bit of darkness. As we have said in other videos, stories like Lord Draken that show a whole alternate universe where the Rangers were defeated and the world was destroyed. We could also have some other alternate universe where we could see Dark Spectre triumph and be the most powerful villain. This could tie in with Morphin Masters stories because, if Dark Spectre succeeds in his evil plans, then the Morphin Masters must show all their power to defeat this monster. This would obviously be very interesting since we would have giant battles with a lot of power, with an epic story and with many possibilities to continue creating other series to expand everything. We all love the Power Rangers, and that is why you are watching this video, but really if you think about it carefully you will realize that the Rangers are only a small part of this whole fantasy universe. The Power Rangers are several people that can transform using a power that they don't understand, and because of that power we have been able to see many amazing things. Normally, thanks to this power, we have also been able to see awesome beings that have been the mentors of the Power Rangers, but they also hide great awesome stories that could be part of these new series of the Morphin Masters in space. An example of this could be Zordon's story, as before he came to Earth, he was a great warrior from another planet who was in many battles to save the universe and meets the Morphin Masters. This story of Zordon could literally be another alternate series that with only 10 episodes could be another important part of this whole universe. In this video, we have presented several ideas about TV series that the owners of the franchise could create together with Netflix, and we are sure that they would be a success. Everything should start with the Morphin Masters series, and at the same time they should have small stories like Zordon's that could continue to complement this universe of fantasy. Finally, they should also have series like the Omega Rangers, Lord Draken and Dark Spectre, series that can be a union between the Morphin Masters and the Power Rangers. If you would like Netflix to create these series, like this video and subscribe to continue expanding the Power Rangers universe.